Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Anne Marie, and today I'm going to discuss the 10 Things I Love About You, The Hitchcock Hotel by Stephanie Wrobel. This is a no spoilers book review, so don't worry about me revealing any plot twists or ruining any surprise endings. The whole point of this is to give you an inside peek into the book. So here we go. The first thing I love about the Hitchcock Hotel is the Hitchcock Hotel. Located in the White Mountains, this sprawling three-story Victorian house stands alone on a hill that overlooks the valley of a small college town. The exterior features a wraparound porch, a mansard roof, and bay windows. The interior is styled like a Scottish hunting lodge. Low lighting, dark rugs, upholstered furniture, and heavy drapes. There's a home theater where Hitchcock films play 24 hours a day, a game room with chess, checkers, and a poker table, a restaurant with an oversized chandelier, oriental rugs, trendy wallpaper, and tasteful sconces, and last, but certainly not least, an aviary that houses 50 crows. The hotel also contains one of the original carousel horses from Strangers on a Train, the black telephone from Dial M for Murder, and the olive green Olympia typewriter Joseph Stefano used to write the Psycho screenplay. The Hitchcock Hotel was founded by Alfred Smedel, who owns and manages it. Alfred Smedel is the second thing I love about this book. Described as being lanky and pale with a full head of hair that is always neatly combed, Alfred has dark eyes, thick brows, a sharp jawline, and ears that are slightly too big. He is in his 30s, wears turtlenecks with suits, and after spending a decade working at La Quinta Inn, he decided to open his own hotel dedicated to his namesake. To celebrate the hotel's first anniversary, he invites his 5 closest friends from college for a weekend getaway / informal reunion. He hasn't spoken to any of them in 16 years. There's a reason for that, which we learn about later in the story. Alfred's quote-unquote friends are the third thing I love about this book. After meeting in college, they took a film studies class together, then went on to found the campus film club. These friends include Grace, who is now a bigwig hedge fund manager, Samira, who is a business owner, Zoe, a chef and restaurant owner, TJ, who is a freelance security specialist, and Julius, a philanthropist. The fourth thing I love is the way the story is told. The book jacket reveals that no Hitchcock set is complete without a body. And since we're reading a thriller about a Hitchcock-themed hotel, you can almost guarantee there is going to be at least one murder. The story opens with a brief prologue written from the perspective of a crow, which I found both clever and fitting for the story. Then there are a total of 3 acts, spanning from Thursday, October 12th to Saturday, October 14th. The chapters labeled Alfred are told in first person from his point of view. However, the chapters labeled with his friends' names, Grace, Samira, Zoe, TJ, and Julius, are told in third person from their points of view. The fifth thing I love about the Hitchcock Hotel is Danny. She is Alfred's elderly housekeeper who is also his hardest working employee. Although he was initially skeptical about hiring her for the job, considering how she's pushing 80, she's the fittest senior he's ever met, she rarely complains, and she's become his trusted lieutenant. Although Alfred gives the rest of his staff the weekend off so that he and his friends can have some privacy, he keeps Danny at the hotel because he can't manage without her. Despite being one of his employees, Danny and Alfred have somewhat of a mother-son relationship. He considers her an old widow who is overprotective of him, which he grumbles about, but also adores. The sixth thing I love is that this book is set during the month of October. In chapter 1, Alfred notes that New England is at her best in the fall. The mountains surrounding our region are aflame with color, trees painted crimson and gold. He also notes that October is a month crafted for Hitchcock. This is the lone time of year when villains don't have to hide in the shadows, when frights are welcomed, even begged for. The cooling weather sends people indoors, to their sofas, to their television sets, to cherished films. Autumn is the perfect season to commemorate the master of suspense. The seventh thing I love is that in between some of the chapters are excerpts from essays written about Alfred Hitchcock. My three favorite are the following. Hitchcock was never concerned with plausibility in his films. That was the easiest part, he said, so why bother? Call the police and the story is over. He was much more interested in evoking a mood, in creating suspense. Today we tend to lump mysteries and thrillers together, but directors like Alfred Hitchcock saw them as vastly different. He felt viewers watched mysteries only to find out the ending. For this reason, Hitchcock generally avoided whodunits, calling them, quote, intellectual puzzles that lacked emotional heft. One of Hitchcock's favorite methods to illustrate the difference between surprise and suspense was the bomb under the table example. If two people sit in a cafe talking for 15 minutes, and at the end we the audience discover a bomb is under the table, that's surprise. But if we the audience know from the beginning of their conversation that there's a bomb while they don't, that's suspense. The eighth thing I love is an observation made in chapter 18. This is how it reads. Strength has little advantage against insanity. When people hear the word insane, they tend to think of chaos and confusion. Sometimes insanity lurks, stalks, grins. Insanity can simmer. It can be quiet. The ninth thing I love about the Hitchcock Hotel is found in chapter 43. This chapter is from Grace's point of view. Grace, as I mentioned earlier, is the hedge fund manager of the group. These are her thoughts, again found in chapter 43. During her film studies classes in college, Grace sometimes wondered if Hitchcock's wife, Elma, ever watched his films and thought she could have done better. Elma had had a film career of her own, after all, before she met Hitchcock. By 1925, she had built enough of a name to be profiled in a London magazine. Being a wife and mother didn't slow her down either. A few years after the profile piece, a movie she wrote was one of the biggest hits at the UK box office. Much of her early work made it to the screen without any contributions whatsoever from Hitchcock. As her husband's fame grew in the 50s, though, she receded into the background. She began to focus on Hitchcock's career instead of her own. One Hitchcock biographer theorized that Elma understood how much harder it would be to climb to those same heights as a woman, and decided to settle for a collaborator role instead. Over the decades, she worked on Hitchcock's films as a writer, casting producer, script supervisor, and editorial advisor, and those were just the professional roles. Hitchcock was a notoriously fragile and anxious man. Elma was the one who kept his head on straight. Her husband never hesitated to give Elma credit where credit was due, both privately and publicly. But still, how many moviegoers know Elma's name? How many understand that without her, there would be no master of suspense? Wrobel was Elma's maiden name prior to marrying Alfred Hitchcock. In the book, Wrobel is also the name of the college Alfred and his friends attended. And finally, the 10th thing I love about this book is the intense level of suspense. In my opinion, author Stephanie Wrobel nailed it. From the very first page, we know Alfred is up to something. What is he really planning for his 5 friends? That's the question that simmers and stews the whole time we're reading. Chapter 7, written from Alfred's perspective, ends the following way. People can't resist a mystery. To do so is against human nature. How might I create a buzz around this hotel? I muse night after night. A buzz that's uniquely Hitchcockian. When the solution came to me, I grinned at its brilliance. By this time next week, the entire country will have heard of the Hitchcock Hotel. If you've read the book and would like to add to my list of things to love, please do so in the comments. Until next time, take care, be well, and happy reading.